Hi, this is Splish and welcome to today's video where I'm once more getting into Battlefield 2042. I've been away from the game for some time, waiting in at least the first major patch in order to see if the game is now performing better than pre-launch and after launch. I also had about 2 hours left of my EA Play subscription time when it comes to Battlefield 2042, so I thought it was a good idea to get in there again and give it a second try. So has the game improved when it comes to the performance aspects of things? I would say slightly, but it's far from enough since I encountered, as seen on the screen, bugs but also problem with the hit registration already in my first game. Let us also be clear about the fact that there are more or less 3 separate things that people are mainly talking about when it comes to disliking Battlefield 2042, although they eventually lead to the same thing: you stop playing the game. First, it's the overall performance of the game, and then there's the actual design decision made by DICE and EA that has to do with, for example, choosing specialists over the normal class system. And then there's the actual key features missing that I believe should be in any modern FPS game in 2021. One of these key features missing is, for example, the ability to lean, which is Q and E if you're playing on PC by default using keyboard and mouse. All of these 3 categories can and will potentially turn people away from a game in 2021 if they aren't addressed and fixed within weeks after launch. Battlefield 2042 is already suffering from a decrease of players with the 50% mark since launch, which clearly shows that people don't have the time or impatience to wait for a game to get fixed within months or up to a year after it has been launched, which is the case for most of the Battlefield games that has been released through the years. Maybe now, looking in the rear mirror, Battlefield 1 was one of the few games that had less bugs and performance issues at launch compared to the other titles in the series. So what can be done now and what should have been done earlier to prevent this from happening? When it comes to Battlefield 2042 and what could have been done before, or better, when it comes to the development phase pre-launch work, I believe we need to go back to Battlefield 5, since it's the latest example of a Battlefield game that took almost up to a year to reach its somewhat full potential, according to most players in the community at least. But at that time, DICE had already abandoned the game when it comes to adding new content into the game, which led to even more disappointment and frustration within the community. I believe that DICE instead should have continued to support BF5 100% and add more content to the game alongside with starting their work and development with Battlefield 2042. By doing so, they would keep up the interest for players to continue playing Battlefield 5, but also giving DICE the chance to not stress out when it comes to releasing Battlefield 22 in a half-ready state, which is the case for now. A later release date in the late spring of 2022 or even in the beginning of the fall of 2022 would have been a much better option or choice in my opinion. Especially again, as mentioned, if the roadmap would include to continue support of BF5, which would lead to much better goodwill within the community to stick around playing the game and therefore also buy the next one. So why didn't this happen? Well, there's 2 sides of a coin, where one is the developers that are passionate about making the best game they possibly can, and believe me, they want to. I know people working at DICE and they want nothing else than that. But then you have the publisher, which is in this case is EA, and they have been pushing hard towards this holiday season release, which apparently is a major reason why things are as they are at the moment. On top of that, you also have the design choices made by lead designers and partly EA that in my opinion both have taken away some of the identity when it comes to defining a Battlefield game. Within this design choice package, I felt once again that most maps are too big and too flat to give the players enough variety when it comes to pacing of the game. It feels as if the players that most benefits from this kind of approach when it comes to map design is either vehicle players or scout snipers. On the other hand, it's hard to determine if this is the case overall when it comes to all-out warfare in Battlefield 2042 or not, since there's only a handful of maps and 2 game modes to choose from so far, so also lack of content. I tried to play Breakthrough again and ended up on this Antarctica map. Towards the end, you get onto this platform as a defender, and you have to prevent the attackers to break through the line of defense. For a long time you can still spawn back onto the platform, but when the attackers have reached a certain amount of success, you all of a sudden are spawning down on the ice, which forces you as an infantry player to climb all the way up, making you an easy target for the attacking team. This gives the attackers a huge advantage, especially since our team, being the defenders at this point, have the upper hand defending the objective well. Well, that was one example when it comes to the spawn system that overall needs some serious work as well. But besides that, and what I've discussed when it comes to pre-launch work and decisions, what has to be done now to prevent the game to go down even further in player count? Well, we need to see action taken from DICE and EA in a pace and speed that we probably haven't seen before, meaning that some of the key features missing in the game has to be fixed and added now and not months from now. That alongside with new content such as more maps and game modes, and of course an improvement when it comes to the overall performance of the game. Hopefully this will fix some of the broken trust that is now present between DICE, EA and the community. Some of the veterans that are used to these rocket launch cycles from previous titles might stick around, but the everyday gamer that bought Battlefield for the first time and are playing other games as well has either left already or has now made their final decision to not buy the game at all. DICE and EA clearly has a lot to think of, both when it comes to the continuous work of Battlefield 2042, but also when it comes to the future of this franchise. I don't think that even the most scarred Battlefield veteran will accept another Battlefield release similar to this one. I would even go as far saying, which would probably never happen, if Battlefield 2042 is continuing to go down both when it comes to sales and player count, consider then to make Battlefield 2042 a free-to-play game. Yes, you heard me right, since you already have a monetization model implemented in the game when it comes to the specialists, and put a lot of effort instead into the portal game mode, adding for example all maps from the previous games in there, such as Battlefield 1942, Bad Company 2 and Battlefield 3, and add a progression system as well in portal when it comes to ranking up guns, etc. I have no idea how this could be done technical wise, since so many people already have bought the game, and I do realize that EA would never go down that path, especially since it's already released as a full-blown AAA title, with all that comes with it. But you can always dream. I guess as the crazy gamer I am, I can do that. So to answer my own statement regarding the title of this video saying Battlefield 2042 will never recover, I unfortunately believe that is true. It will never fully recover. Too many mistakes have been made and too many promises has been broken that will hurt the brand when it comes to the Battlefield series. If that continues into the next game as well, I wouldn't be surprised if EA actually decide to say no to further Battlefield games. Let's hope that's not the case. I'm curious to hear what you think in the comments. Remember that all games aren't for everyone, meaning that we can have different experience and opinions here. Please respect each other's opinions. With that said, thanks for watching, and if you're new to my channel and you enjoy FPS gaming videos such as this, feel free to subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out when I'm uploading another one. Take care and game on.